Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Sunday night hanging. Well, right here on Sundays, because that's the name of the show. So that's the way it goes. I'm Ben. Please subscribe if you're new, and welcome back if you're returning. Great. Now we said that. Oh, hit the like, subscribe, and all that. Share. Herb shared. So why don't you be like Herb and share? You know, it helps. I don't know if it helps. It might help. It might not help. Could be a detriment. I don't know. We had 19 people. Now we got 17 people. And speaking, one of the 17 people, no, because he's not there. He's here. We got Matt McCollim Music. One of the people in the neighborhood that I'm gonna be honest. He's been a channel member for a while. He's been hanging out at Water Buffalo meets. I'm like, you know what? Let's pull ourselves aside for a side chat, and we'll do it publicly. He's a cool guy. So welcome, Matt.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Glad to do it. Been meaning to do it for, I'm going to say, at least a month now, and finally I remembered to email you. Because, lifestyle choices.
Yeah,
And, wow, we've already got a bunch of people in here. Let's go through roll call. They were nice enough to say hi, is what I'm saying. So, yeah. At 1:51 p.m., Earl is, what are we drinking? We got a A&W root beer on the go. Well, about to.
Dr. Pepper.
Nice. We got Herb, a Fireside Studio. We got Mr. Mark Taft, Dave Chase, JP Page 2, Billy Baloney, Dan Sullivan, the Gambler, Paul McNary, and the Cats lurking. I don't know if Paul's lurking or the Cats are. I think the Cats are watching, but he's lurking. That's my guess. Cushman NYC is here. Eston Ray, Billy Baloney, Josh Tamberg, Unfucking Believable is here. Bird Burfel. Right, scrolling. All of them saying Zach Thong. What's up, Zach? Six String Stanger, who just hit 6,000 subscribers. I think it's all the Jungle website guitars he's reviewing. I don't know. He's confused. I'm confused, but congrats either way. Let's see here. Who else we got? How was I late, Dan? What was I, seconds late? We were pretty much on time. There's Arf the dog said. Hip Metalworks is here. Always great seeing Ken. There's Symmetry. Cooking seafood pasta. Ooh. Nice. Wayne McConnell. Rock Daddy. BC Rich 581. There's Monk Michelli. Jeff K. Rock Daddy. Mark's Gas Station. Cool Tunes Made Easy. Ooh. All right. That's all. Hobo Roadie is here. My stalker is here. And by that, I'm going to say, because you can tell by the wrong here. I'm here because our friend Charles decided, I don't know, apparently he's got a life outside of YouTube, Matt. So he, put some community posts on, hey, I'm not doing a Friday show. And then somehow I get referenced in Ryan's comment. And then he's like, hey, I'm not doing a Sunday show. And somehow Ryan references me in the comment. Like, I don't understand. But it's a little creepy. And but that's kind of how Ryan is. Blackjack Guitars here. Good to see you. Who else is here? Oh, you wait 1, 2.
There you go. I was just over there hanging out.
Nice. He says they're running a little long over there, but they're still going to send everyone over here. I'm like, all right. Oh, okay. At least 30 seconds late. All right. Just long enough for a bowl. Yep. You're right. Guitar Man 45's here. Keith H is here. All right. There we go. Oh, okay. There we go. Ryan saying hey to you. Oh, there we go. I was waiting for that. Ryan. I was like, what's going on? Okay. All the love, apparently. That does not dispel from the stalker vibe, Ryan, at all. I'm just saying. Whew. Eddie Faye
That's where he's been these last few weeks.
Steve Reeser. Dang it. Steve, I told you I'd forget again at some point. Reeser. I don't know.
Steve R. There you go.
I just remember when he came on the Buffalo meeting, I'm like, now, Steve, how do you pronounce your name? He's like, fucking Steve. I'm like, fuck you, Steve. That's why I love you. Yeah. So if you have a question for either or both, you can at us, or you put question marks out front, or If you're a Mit channel member, you do the member milestone, which I'm not sure how that works. I'm not a member. Or stand out with super chat. That's always an option. I'm just saying. And so far, we hey to each other. Ooh. Wait a minute. What is that?
There's some weird things going on here.
Yeah, I'm like, at first, I'm like, is that a Dano body?
No.
Silvertone?
It's a Silvertone, but somebody put K on the headstock.
Okay. Well, and sometimes the Silvertones do that weird headstock like that, but still 6 on a side for some reason.
Yeah.
Which I never. I'm like, if you're going to do a paddle, make it 3 aside.
Fully original. It's got side dot mod, new frets, but it's still the original Buzzy Diamond Hershey bars.
Nice.
Which are fun.
Hang on a sec. I was doing something. There we go. Let's hold that up again. Oh, look at that thing. Oh, yeah. It's got like the cupcake knobs.
Yep.
Which kind of reminded me of Reese Peanut Butter Cup in many ways. Oh, yeah. The weird 3-bolt design. Yep. No wear at all on the back of that neck.
Nah, man. Brand spanking new.
Yep. She looks factory.
I actually like it better than the gloss neck, to be honest.
No doubt.
Feels nice. It only does one thing and one thing good, and that's the blues.
Right.
So when I set it up, I just set it up to G, open G.
There's Cousin Doug, the Down and Back Cornhole podcast. Had me on last night. That was a bunch of fun.
Yeah, I've been subbed over there for a while because my dad's church does a lot of cornhole, and so I've been tuning into Doug's stuff.
Cornhole for Jesus. No,
basically.
I couldn't resist.
He's always like, "Come play with us." I'm like, "Man, come on, man." That's an hour and a half drive for me to just suck.
Crucifixes on cornhole bags, like full on Reverend Lovejoy situation. I can see it.
The thing is, they all got really good sense of humor. So the last board that we made for them, I painted a pig's butt because they did a barbecue.
Okay.
And you throw the bag into the pig's, hole.
Yeah.
It went over well with some people, but there was a lot of people who did not like that.
What's up, Dan of New Jersey? Eddie Fay asks, is McCollim Music a store or a recording studio?
McCollim Music is a production thing, but it's pretty much just dissolved into me now.
So more or less your publishing company in many ways, I guess.
Yeah, that's all anything I release will be released under McCollim Music.
There we go. Hey, Great Vanzini.
I mean, with all the stuff I got, it could be a store.
You and me both. So I'll probably turn the living room into just put a little sign out by the road. Guitar boutique by appointment only. It's just all my surplus gear in the living room, right?
I don't know if I could part with anything though.
I could part with a few things.
Yeah, like the cheap Squires and stuff, maybe.
Exactly. Then you're just upgrading, right? We just upgrade.
Come get you a $30 Squire. Don't touch any of the expensive stuff.
Right. You have to go through an interview before you get to even see the expensive stuff. Yeah. It's like the good old days with guitar shops. No, you can only touch stuff on the bottom row, you greasy little punk.
And they would keep the vintage stuff locked away in another room, and you had to have somebody come escort you to it. Yeah,
until you're on a fair staying basis with at least 2 employees. Yeah. You even know about this room.
Exactly. I think I had to spend $2-3 grand on a guitar once, and they were like, "Hey, did you know we have vintage stuff?" I was like, "Well, I would have bought that had you shown me that first."
Right.
It is what it is. Guitar Center, they're great.
Says Miss Pete Thorne today. Was he able to host a Sunday Live? I think he's on the road. No, he's traveling home today. So yeah, he put out a community post yesterday saying he was going to try to go live at some point during the week. I'm like, please don't go live at 8 p.m. Monday because you did that before, Pete. And it kind of knocks into my crowd a little. Just saying. Which I get, is given the option. I'd watch Pete before me, so it's just me.
I tend to watch more than one at the same time.
I've been there. I remember at one point there was 3 different channels I moderated, all went live at the same time each week. So that was a pick your poison. I'm like, all right, I'm just looking for trolls and 2 of the chats, and I'm listening to the 3rd. Some guy named Pete Thorne, Billy. I don't know. I hear he's decent on guitar. Rock Daddy says, I'm on the road. Walmart has my grocery order ready for pickup. It's handy. They don't have mine. I don't order. I go wherever, whenever. Dan Idris says, was in a Guitar Center today. There were literally 4 people in the whole store. They're doing well. And 3 were employees, and you were the 4th, right there. Southern Shade says, I've heard good things about the Gretsch baritone. Is that what is behind Matt? I need one.
There's 2 of them. There's one there, and there's one there. It depends on what you're going to do with it. That's the key. I think people need to know. They come with the mini humbuckers, so they're not super high outputs. If you're like me and you're like, oh man, 30-inch baritone, that's going to be gnarly, and then you get it home and you plug it in, you're like, oh, this is not gnarly.
No, that's like when you get into like baritone Dano, because it's still got like a lipstick pickup that puts out like 1.5K. All right, I'm actually using my phone for internet tonight, folks. So somebody just contacted. Let's just see what this says. There we go. Whoop.
But I can say with a little trickery and a whole lot of compression, you can get the baritone.
Appreciate that. And if anyone else wants to do the virtual tip jar, that's the address. Which, as Jim said, he says helping keep the lights on. I appreciate that.
The Revolta is one of my main guitars that I play. I absolutely love it.
Because Billy was asking about the Revolta. They're nice.
Mm-hmm. I can't afford a Novo.
I think I played just about all the Revoltas when they were out at around 2019, 2020.
I could never find them in a store.
Doing some work with them, but it kind of fell through.
I did have some QC issues back and forth with them, but they were really cool about it and just sent me a new guitar. No questions asked. I also had somebody playing in my corner that's pretty popular with them, so,
Time and a place. If you get them for a reasonable amount, they do a thing.
Yeah, I had a couple Danos.
A Longhorn bass does that sound that only a Longhorn bass does. A Dano baritone does only what a Dano baritone does. But don't be spending $1,000 on one. That's what I'm saying.
No.
Because they're not making them any better. Sure, you can intonate them now, but still.
Yeah, but they don't sound as chimey anymore.
No,
because the pots are different.
The pickups are higher output.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like I like that I could tune it, but then I was like, it's not killing me right now, so I don't know if I like this anymore.
That's how I figured out the chiminess thing, playing various strats, and also like some of the vintage reissue strats will do the vintage winding pickups, much less winds. And I was like, why is this so chimey and glassy? Oh, because I had to turn up the amp 2 degrees to hear it after playing a humbucker through the same amp because it's half the volume.
Half the volume, yeah. That's kind of what this is all about. You plug this in and they're like, why is it? What's wrong? What's wrong? And they're like, oh, I'm just turning things up. Like, okay, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
And then I was always wondering, why would it be worn here? How did that happen? Well, I figured it out from playing it for over a week. You tend to put your finger against the pickup to stop it from buzzing because there's no way to ground the bridge.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, see, again, that's one of those great things, like Dane Electro. So, like, ground wire.
Yeah, what's that?
What's that?
When I did pull off the pick guard and took a look inside there's a ground wire, and it's a holy moly thick ground wire, and it only goes from the pots to the switch to the pickups, and that's it. It ends there.
Zini says the Longhorns are 1,000 now. I don't know if they're 1,000 new now, but definitely a used one is. The vintage ones. Hey, Seth from Presley, California Customs. Earl says, checked out Reno Fin Custom Guitar. No longer in Victoria. He's now just down the road from me here. He's back in Ontario. Still all Canadian sourced materials, though, whenever possible. And if he does have to outsource to another country, he usually goes US first. If you can't get it, then possibly Japan. But even most of the hardware is
is
Canadian.
metal.
He was able to source Canadian hardware, which I don't know where he's finding that.
The problem with that is I don't know how you get the ground wire to it.
Yeah.
There's no place
Usually
for
you run it inside out through where the strap button comes out, right?
Yeah, but there's no routing from there to there. So you would have to route a hole.
Yeah. Well, you're an electrician. I'm sure you have some long drill bits.
I don't want to route a hole through this thing. It's older than me.
All right. Well,
Respect.
if you want to buzz, you know, so.
Yeah, I know the trick now. I get it. You just lay your finger across the pickup there.
Yep.
You don't play with the pick.
And at no time do you play that guitar and touch a microphone.
No, you'll get zapped. And you get the ground wire to the bridge on one of the posts. I really haven't investigated it too much because it doesn't really bother me that much.
Right.
If I was playing it live, then yeah, that would definitely be something I would need to figure out.
Right.
In a high gain situation too.
Ground wire is in a Les Paul. You're like, oh, all right. But unless you rip those furls out, you'll never see it.
Exactly. And then there's also upgrades for you can get a metal version of the bridge, but it's a floating bridge, so I don't see you hooking a wire to that.
You can intonate it, right?
Yeah.
Just dig in, because the whole thing shifts.
There's not a whole lot of palm muting going on here.
No, and minimal break angle.
Yeah. Oh, Ben, I have the lightest strings I've ever played. Super lights.
Nice.
I didn't know what I mean. Look, you can't put a thicker string in that. I feel like it would break the bone.
Here, girl, I'll show you the original prototype. It needs to go in for some service, but there it is.
Nice.
It's got a different headstock design now, and I'm no longer going to use stainless frets. This stainless frets and P90s, that's a little too bright, I found. And apparently my guitar rack interacts with the paint, because you can tell by...
It's got a rash.
Oh, yeah, right on the other side of the jack there. That nice dull spot.
No, Eddie, the bridge is wood. I think it's rosewood.
Which in many ways, that's basically a Les Paul that looks like a Telecaster. Mahogany body, P90s.
That's cool. I liked it. I like the color.
I forget what he called that burst of some kind.
It's almost like a tobacco.
Yeah, Michael Gross says there's a company that makes a 12-string tremolo bridge. I applaud their insanity.
I have a couple tremolo baritones. Those are fun. It's just for looks at that point.
Right. So I was watching BC's video today, and he had the audacity to actually use the trem bar on his bass 6. I'm like, whoa, you live dangerously.
I do not hit the Bigsby at all, even though you want to.
I made the mistake of doing that in that demo last week or the week before. Oh, my God. Yeah. And then I pulled back on it, and that just made it sound like I was at the chiropractor. It made creaks, and I think I broke it, but we'll just pretend I didn't do that.
First time I messed with the Bigsby, I pulled it back and the spring shot out, and I was like, well, not going to do that again.
Yeah, that's what I would probably do. What's up, Patrick Traits? BC's like, well, I'm not that bright. Yeah, well, I saw your video and went, I should probably make one myself.
Good, Mom's doing good.
It's good, Brian.
I was in Bama all last week. Oh, that sucked. That's a long drive from Georgia, about 3.5 hours. To do an hour of work and then drive 3.5 hours back.
Yeah, I've been there.
Luckily, I don't have to pay for gas. So.
Right. Patrick likes the Bass 6 demo. That's cool. They are a unique beast. Is it a guitar? Is it a bass? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I traded mine in for an Eastman side jack 27-inch.
You know, it doesn't say guitar on anywhere. It calls it a Bass 6, yet it's got Jaguar pickups in it. and a guitar trem system.
Put this back.
Ryan says, "Why didn't you stop at by Mother's? We would have feed you." I'm assuming fed.
What, are you going to feed me too?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I wish I could have, to be honest with you. That drive is killer. The only problem is when you're working for a company that gives you a vehicle, they tend to track you.
Right? They track you more than your phone. No,
They do. It interferes with my phone. Like, they'll have service, know where I am, but I don't have service. Can't call nobody.
What's up, Raj? Yeah, I know that feeling.
Patrick said it sounded like a bass in BC Rich's hands. Definitely sound like a bass.
Well, he was also playing it through that PV Delta Blues with a single 15, which helps.
Oh, yeah. That definitely helps.
What's up, Mad Dog?
I don't know. Nowadays, it has to really grab my attention for me to pick up a guitar.
I'm just curious how much of a madman BC is. I'm watching his video, and I can't help but notice the commercial fire alarm setup he's got over his shoulder, which I've never seen in a residential home. And I'm like,
What kind of soldering iron you use?
wow. And then it's two doors next to each other. And one I can see going outside, but there's another door. But I'm like, it's not an exterior wall. I think he lives in a TARDIS that's fire capable. It's not fire retardant, fire accelerant. Yeah, we'll go with that.
I know some of the duplexes we do will have like commercial grade electrical run to it, so they will get those boxes.
That's for the bomb shelter.
For the bomb shelter.
All right. So just grab the alarm on the way out the door down. All right.
Oh, it's the Batman layer switch.
I'm like, what?
You pull it and a door opens under the desk, and he slides down a slide into the Batcave.
I think so. He's Batman. That's it.
He's
BC is Batman.
That's why he likes BC Riches. They're pointy like Batman.
That's right. You know, I want my headstock to look like a bat signal. Do you? Do you really?
I had a couple Warlocks when I was in my teens, so I can't really say much.
Got smoked in the shoulder more than once by a Warlock bass. Oh, man.
Yeah, I hit myself a few times.
Still not as bad as getting hit. Actually, I think I'd rather get hit in the, because it would be like the front face of the headstock. The bass was better than a guitar because the guitar always had the pointy string.
Pointy, right? Yeah.
And you're thanks. No, that's not a safe injection site.
It's like one of those allergy shot things, you know.
I don't know how long it's been since you've trimmed your raised your strings.
Man, that brought back nightmares.
Roger's fire alarm tech in real life, as opposed to what we do here. I guess. Sure, we'll go with that. Nice. Mad Dog has a gunslinger. I always wanted a gunslinger.
Not sure I know what that is.
A little bit normal, a little bit BC Rich. That's why I like it.
I'm gonna look it up.
Super Strat, more or less.
I like some Super Strats.
I don't want a Warlock. Unbelievable. I don't. Just telling you now. You got to be careful. If you say you don't like something on here, sometimes people will send it to you out of spite. They say, oh, this would be a good unboxing. No.
Oh, yeah, those are the ones I actually like, too. Now, I didn't know they were called a gunslinger. That makes me like it even more now.
Right?
Got the reverse headstock
not
on
be
it.
worn above the waist either. Friends don't let friends play BC Riches up high.
Now there's a gunslinger, too? What?
It's not the year of the EQ, and it never will be, Chris. He was threatening me last night with sending me more EQs. You want to send me a pellet? Send me Electro Harmonics B9 or C9 or a string 9 or a Mel 9. That's what I want. I want a 9 pedal. B, preferably. I think that'll mix up the Monday nights. You know, like, let's play Crazy Train. Okay, let's do it. It sounds like a flute.
I had the organ one, but I ended up trading it for a couple other things. And then I felt sad about it, so I ended up getting an S9, and it'll never leave my possession. Because it could be a fuzz pedal too if you set it right.
No, I don't. I'm good for fuzzes. I have a couple around here. I'm good.
Same.
Apparently, for me to use a fuzz pedal, it's got to be handmade by a boutique builder, because that's the level it takes for me to get a fuzz that I can actually dial in. Oh no, I can't. I just can't.
I found that it's really noisy if you hook it up to a power supply, so it has to be run off a battery.
Oh yeah. Well, let's hashtag electroharmonics.
Yeah.
Electroharmonics, where you have to run it. Actually, you have to run it its own power supply.
Yeah.
Because they don't even like isolated power supplies half the time.
Digitech did that stuff too.
Yeah.
Ryan says, what guitar end or tuning do you prefer to write songs in? It depends on what I'm writing.
Right.
I do a lot of like indie rock that'll be in just a standard tuning, or I'll tune to like almost a like a Nashville tuning, but an open C. Mm-hmm. And for blues, I tend to stay in the open G minor.
Sure.
But when it comes to heavy metal, I go all over the place.
Whatever works, right?
My main guitars that I write on are the Revolta, which is in a drop G. Sorry. It's kind of hard to explain. It goes G, D, G, C, C sharp, F. So it's a dissonance tuning.
Sure. Drone on, my friend. Drone on. Raj here, HW Titan Lords, he'd be into that. He's into. I know he has a lot of 7 strings, and I don't think he uses the top string. So I think get a baritone, but he's like, nope, he has 7 string.
I have a couple of those as well, and I tend to use the baritone over the 7 strings.
Most 7 strings, the neck's just too big for me.
It gets a little crazy, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm down to the only one I could play for any length of time, and there is a photo of me playing it, which was my profile pic on FaceSpace for a long time. Fred JJ of the House of Jams has one or more, or I don't know if he's still at OG like universes, and those I like because it wasn't much bigger than a standard neck, because it's basically a wizard neck but a little wider. And
the inlays and the diamond on the butt, oh man, it's just a really good looking guitar.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, speaking of 7 strings, that is an Iceman 7 string.
Actually, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a universe. It was like an RG 740 or something. Maybe I don't know. It was an RG, I think, as opposed to I don't. It's an Ibanez. It was vintage. Yeah, 7 string Iceman. Yeah, because they make those every day.
Yeah. I still haven't even set up that Iceman. It's still just been kind of hanging out.
Assimilating.
Yeah, you gotta let it temperature, accumulate, adjust to the temperature and everything. It's been quite some
interacting with his new friends back there. It's all good.
I did buy strings for it and everything. The whole matter of pulling it apart and redoing it.
So Trev mentioned last night me doing a restring video of my bass 6. It's like, yeah, for the cost of those strings, I'll have to wait for 2 years for that video to break even. Because I know I've done one video so far with it, which is a setup video, which apparently no one else has set up a bass 6 on YouTube, because I get a lot of views on it, and that video just cleared $16 today. So there we are.
They're not 7 strings, but that's what's going on the Iceman.
Oofta. All right.
Because I don't think they make a 7 string set that goes down to 74.
No,
I don't think
no, because they're like that 7 string is usually what, like a 60. I want to say
68. I think is the biggest I found. Ish.
Raj, care to comment? What gauge strings do you use on your 7s?
54 to 9.
Well, it's like what stock on the bass stick? It's like 28 to 84, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like an 80 something.
I go to bend a note. I'm like, oh, right, they're 28 gauge. God damn.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of bending.
I'm used to 9s, a third.
Well, if standard, you tune it down.
That doesn't help, Raj. Standard means nothing to me. What's standard for a 7 string?
I think it's 64 to 10 on the standard. I don't know. None of my 7-string have 7-string sets on them. They're all 8-strings sets on
Already
7-string.
2 Fender bass 6s. Wow.
Fancy.
Heard about those, Earl. The Wampler Muffetta Overdrive Distortion. Great clean boost and overdrive combination. Highly recommend. Would love to know what you think. I don't see Wampler pedals around here too often.
I don't think I have any.
Once in a blue moon.
I do a lot of Walrus, and I've been messing with a lot of Old Blood Noises.
They're cool guys.
Yeah. Their pedals are awesome. Kind of weird stuff, but I guess if you're not really trying to do anything live with it, you're fine.
Right. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Well, the reverse has this clock. It's like a slider. It's not a knob.
Right.
So to use it, I don't know how you would like. I'll kick knobs with my feet if I have to, but like there's no way
you can nudge a slider with a toe.
It's like in between two. So you're gonna turn some stuff you didn't want to turn.
It's like it's like the ultimate like hippie psychedelic pedal. It's like meant to be played barefoot. Yeah. So it's got a nice big soft button to press. Because they expect you're gonna be playing on a Persian carpet barefoot on stage. Like easy, folks.
Fuzz wrapped, so it's nice and soft to the touch.
Comes with a pack of rolling papers for some reason. Don't know why. Just does.
It's got a built-in.
Keely. You could do that.
Built-in hash poker.
The angle straight to hell pedal. Right. Zini says 11 to 64s on 7s. I could see that because I don't know. I want to know how many people that have 7 strings are even tuned to 440 anymore. Like I assume they're down generally a full step anyways.
A flat normally. For the most people I know anyway. Drop A flat and then drop B.
No, I'm not sure what that is exactly, Ryan. What's a fuss pedal? Is that so it just works intermittently? It's fussy. It's got to be a sunny day or it just doesn't work.
It cuts your signal in and out.
430. Okay. 430. Yeah.
Somebody posted a picture on one of those joke things that says the ultimate clean pedal, and they show the inside of it, and it's just one jack hooked to the other jack. I got a good chuckle out of that.
Yeah, the button isn't even wired into the
There's
circuit.
no button. It just says clean tone.
Nice. I wasn't going to go there, Hep, but you did.
It's a female pedal.
It
won't talk to you for a week.
Was it the germanium transistors that are all sensitive to temperature? So
that's what's in this.
You put it in the fridge as opposed to out in the sun.
This Acorn Epstein didn't do it fuzz. If the room's too cold, it makes all sorts of weird noises.
Right.
Which is sad because I was trying to use it and it just kept being a pain. I was like, all right, you're done. I use the sun pedal.
English is your only language, Ryan. Not my best. I'm pretty sure it's your only. I've never heard you speaking a francophone or Spanish or Russian.
I had to learn a new English when I moved to Georgia, and then dealing with Georgia and Alabama line, you learn new words.
Yep, that is true. You learn to speak South. I've told you.
Very Southern.
Ozarkian, right? Is that a word, Patrick? I think it is now. BC, okay, I'm just going to say it. I want to retire in Matt's room.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. I'm like, if I don't ever have to leave here, I won't.
Right.
And there's so much more you can't see because of how the camera is. This is the best I can do to give you a good view. Like the wall there that's all pedals. It's just covered pedals. And then the wall over here looks the same, but it's amplifiers and microphones. And then there's a whole wall of guitars. And then there's a closet. And if you go in the closet, there's more guitars and a drum set.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
I don't know. An electric drum kit I'd like to get because I don't.
Yeah, that's what I have. A Roland.
I don't want an acoustic drum kit because that's not fair to my neighbors.
Yeah, I tried.
They're going to hear that. They will. They won't hear the guitars, they'll hear the drums.
Trying to mic it in a little space, just ugh.
Yeah.
So I got the Roland, but I don't really play it much because it makes me very tired very quickly. But I'm picking it back up now that I've had some feet issues.
That would be a way for me to lose some weight. Yeah, start playing drums.
That's what I thought. I was like, yeah, man, I'll get in here and start burning some calories.
Right.
Yeah, no. Things start to hurt, and you're like, God damn, I didn't know my hips were like that.
I'll go back to guitar. Oh, pussy. I might say, like, one time when I was subbing in a band playing bass, and I thought, I'm playing bass. I'm going to play with my fingers. You're like, no, it's playing with a pick bullshit. I'm going to play bass. I'm going to play bass. One fucking song. I'm done.
No more finger.
I'm just doom, 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 doom. I'm like, oh, come on. Oh, cramp it up. As soon as I had a chance, grab a fucking pick.
I used to play bass in a band, and I would put super glue on my fingertips.
Yep.
And it lasts like a song or two. And then you got to clean it off your guitar. That's when I realized I was not a bass player.
See, Hobo Roadie, or we just play with non-germanium fuzz-based pedals and not have to worry about heat lamps and thermometers on the floor. And yeah, that's a bit see, I won't even deal with a menu screen, and you want me dealing with heat lamps and thermometers and heat ranges.
What's up, Dastardly Dave?
What's up, Dave? Great to see you.
I didn't even think of that. If I put it under some heat lamps, that would totally work, wouldn't it?
Yep. That's the one where you just have the short cable coming off it into the amp because it sits on the amp all the time. It sits
on the amp, yeah. That's where it's been living. I don't know, man. Once you get one of these sun pedals, though, I don't think you really need much more because there's so many options.
Oof, yeah. Yeah, Hobo Roadie is an alchemist. Yeah, those are pretty sweet.
It's kind of like a rat mixed with a fuzz pedal, an older fuzz pedal, like a sun preamp type of fuzz. And you can switch. There's 3 different breakups you can go through. They call it the clip. And they got some funky names. It's hard to read. Asylum. I can't read it and can't read it.
Stuff just for the hell of it, and then you're like, "What? I don't even understand." So I got to like grab knobs or just crank it on to figure out what the hell it does. So I have an right, that's the bass control. Fuck.
Yep.
Back.
I've really been digging on the
compression pedal.
Does It Doom? The Sabathi. It's like a harmonic fuzz. The one knob. It's all you need.
No.
It just does a thing. Don't try to play any major chords or anything like that. It ain't going to happen.
I was literally off Earthquaker pedals for years because my experience was single knob fuzzes from Earthquaker. I'm like, well, I turn it all the way down and it's too much. What do I do now? I turn it off.
The cool thing with these is you take the back off and there's a little, you can turn down the main level. So that was neat. And you can turn down how bright the LED is because this LED will blind you.
Oof. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. I kicked it on them when I first got it and I was like, holy shit.
My pedal board has gotten noticeably brighter since I went more boutique, replacing it red LEDs with blues.
The blues, yeah. Go back to the reds, people. Come on.
Well, actually, now I have some greens. I'm looking down. And a red. The embers looks almost white. I don't know what's going on there. Sure.
What's up, Fruitcake Tony? Trying to read the chat, but it keeps scrolling up, and I'm not scrolling up. There we go.
Ryan, why are you throwing me under the bus? What? What'd I do to you? Oh, right. I remember now what I did to you earlier in the show. Touche. That's a French word, Ryan. It's like touch with E on the end. Touchy. Think it that way. But yes, we got some cool comments here so far. Fun stuff. All right. So my question is, I was going to start asking guests that are community members. How did you find my channel?
I found you through RJ Ronquillo.
Right. That makes sense.
I was in a chat of his, and he was like, hey, you would like Ben Coombs, you could check him out. And I was like, okay. And then he was on your show, so I got spam from his channel, be like, "Hey, go here." I'm like, "Okay."
Right. Dude, have RJ on again, come to think of it.
Yeah, he's good people.
He is. He's really good. Used to go live every week. Now he goes live once a month, it seems.
I think he's been really busy with Transatlantic. His
Radio?
project. Yeah. That
You want to
80s.
say orchestra, but that's different. Yeah,
And,
Transatlantic Radio. Which, I think they're actually going to be doing some shows.
Yeah. Yeah. I told him the other day, I was like, I love how cheesy it is. He's like, yeah, we did that on purpose. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's just over the top.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm at work and I'll be jamming to it. Like
Perfect players for that project. Like, if you can't actually get Dan Huff, get RJ.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I found RJ just one day randomly going through YouTube. I was like, I think I know that guy. Turns out I did.
Arf says YouTube recommended me to him. Wow, that's nice. Yeah, I think it was. I'd seen a couple RJ's demos, but I didn't really think too much of it because it's just another demo video in many ways, and that's nothing against RJ's demos. But it's like I always say, people use YouTube two ways. People use it like Google, where it's like, "Hey, Big Muff demo, blah blah blah." You watch the video. Chances are you're not going to subscribe to the person. You're not going to like it. You're not going to comment. You're just there to hear what it sounds like and move on. And then there's other people that treat it like social media, like here, where you're interactive, you're part of a community. And there's that. Bo remembers me in Rich's basement. Yeah, that was like day one, Bo. That's true. So yeah, I think it was RJ's tour vlogs that got me hooked.
I watched a bunch of those for sure.
Because he puts it in a nutshell. It's either I'm tired or I'm hungry or I'm playing. I'm looking for a place to sleep. I'm looking for a place to eat. And then it was like, boom.
We were trying to fix something.
Yeah. So I quite enjoyed those. And then he basically retired from the road not too long after that and started doing live streams.
Yeah, I think he got hooked up with Eastwood guitars and started doing that stuff all the time.
I did not. You followed me from Pete, Ryan. I did not snatch you.
Pete who?
Yeah, Pete who? Apparently, BC has an affinity for crotchety Canadians, so I came up as a recommendation after Dave's World of Fun Stuff. That makes perfect sense.
You know, I think I do too, because I grew up with a bunch of crotchety Canadians, so it feels like home to me.
Right.
And I'm a huge Trailer Park Boys fan.
But I actually worked with a guy when I was a military contractor. One of the guys that worked in my shop was from that town. Like,
Sunnyvale.
That was not a set.
Yeah,
that's an
a real place
on the end of town.
Yeah. Man, they have such a following. It's crazy. Even Snoop Dogg and people like that. I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
Well, I just remember it would be on at, let's say, midnight, 1 a.m. for whatever reason, right? And you get home from the bar, and it was one of those shows you put on you're flipping through the channels, all of a sudden it's there. You're like, what the fuck is this? And you're thinking you're watching for 30 seconds, and all of a sudden 20 minutes goes by. You're like, why am I still watching this? And then, then you don't know.
And what was the Rick Moranis movie? He had a thing going on. Oh, man. I always forget.
No, I said Strange Brew or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Strange Brew. There you go.
Classic.
Yeah. My dad was big on that.
Some inaccuracies, but some other things hitting straight for home. Doug says, when I was younger, I was told I had to hang out with you. Funny, I was told the same thing. That's right. Billy Baloney says, Google Canucks with guitars, cannabis, and root beer, and you're sure to find Ben.
There you go.
And that's right. Who of us wouldn't kidnap Alex Lifeson if we could?
Exactly. That's one of my favorite episodes. But you kidnapped me. No, I didn't.
Right. Ryan says,
why are you wearing my clothes?
Did I ever meet Jeff Healy? I did not ever meet Jeff Healy. Friends used to play at his bar because he would do. He had open mic night one night a week. I can't remember which. I had some friends that used to do his open mic nights, and yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him. I don't think he played around here a whole lot. Herb says, I started watching YouTube for the Google aspect and still do for certain things, but really like watching our community. Yeah. I was the same way. Like pedal demo was like when I first started hanging out with my best friend Richie. I'd go over to his place one night a week and we'd just sit around, smoke weed, and watch gear demos like all night. Or documentaries that were also on YouTube, like the history of the wah pedal documentary was on YouTube back then, or Behind the Musics or anything like that.
I watch a lot of that stuff too. Holy crap, bro. You can watch Strange Brew for free with ads on YouTube.
Yep. I do remember awesome. That, Doug, when we were asked in Charlotte if Elsinore beer was a real beer. Yeah. Like, no.
Man, they could have made a killing had they done it.
I'm surprised one of the breweries hasn't at least a limited run or something like that. But
I mean, hell, even Trailer Park Boys, they made the whiskey.
If you want to see some honest, what's Canada like, Trailer Park Boys, that's definitely an aspect. Red Green hits closer to home than one cares to admit. I'm just saying. What's up, Victor Beebe? Aloha.
We were talking about somebody was talking in a chat I was in not too long ago, and it turns out like Bobo Island's going to be condos and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. What the heck?
Letterkenny. Sure. I don't know if I've ever watched Letterkenny. I know of it. I don't think I've ever watched it. Red Green is not a parody. No, well, my God, Hap Shaughnessy, that character, my God, that was my dad back in the day, holding court at the music store. Except it was true and not just bullshit. Okay, and Dan admits Letterkenny is so Northern Ontario life. Well, Dan's from up north, so I'll believe him.
I don't think I've seen this. I'm gonna have to watch that tonight. 1991.
Corner Gas. Another good example of Canadiana. Long-time TV series. Of life in Saskatchewan. Prairie life. It's like Ontario life, but without hills.
I've seen Fubar.
I don't know if I have seen
that. I think it's the same people that made Trailer Park Boys. It's just a different character.
Herb says, I gotta love Red Green. I have a lifetime supply of duct tape because of him. Right? Handyman's secret weapon. Can't fix it with duct tape or WD-40. It can't be fixed.
Or gaffer's tape.
It's basically duct tape. But better. Because the glue holds better. You're like, oh, wow. That's like, all right. That's a good stuff.
I have watched The Great White North. My dad watched Bob and Doug movies constantly, so I would, as a kid growing up, it was always in the background. And my dad worked for a trucking company as a diesel mechanic, so we were always back and forth from Detroit to Canada, back and forth, back and forth. You learn a lot of new things that way. Don't turn the air brakes off when you're sitting on a hill.
No. No.
Learn that the hard way.
Like, I think one of the last times I drove a tractor trailer, I was pulling into a small town. We were going to stop for something to eat. And I was coming in a little hot. And I reached over the Jake brake and found out Jake brake didn't work. And I was really hoping it would work. And I still remember there's two old boys sitting on the front porch and rocking, like just straight out of a movie. Cross street on rocking chairs, okay? And the restaurant we're going to is converted mill, so it's like on the river that ran through the middle of town. And it was fortunately a long, basically, so you could park a tractor trailer right out front. And I just came in hot and heavy with the trailer brakes just fucking locked for about 100 feet. Just but then perfectly into the spot. I'm like, I get out like nothing, and they're just. What did I just? Because yeah, I guess. Well, you can see the skid marks. There was some chattering, so I apparently I had it bopping up and down a little bit.
I had that happen to me a couple weeks ago. A trailer locked up in front of me, and I was like, "Well, we're all gonna die."
Right.
Good old Atlanta traffic.
Eddie Van Haskell in the house. He says, "Did your dad like the Schmengi Brothers? Who didn't? How can you not like the Schmengi Brothers?"
I'm not sure if you
Have
did.
rolled some coffee. Good. Arf drove 53-foot trailers for 2 years. Not for me. I tried. I spent a summer hauling cars, and that was enough for me.
That's nope.
Because I'll tell you, when your car clips the overpass because you're over height, you don't know until you arrive at the destination. You're like, "Oh shit, it's a convertible now."
Chop top.
Yep, just peels it right off because you're doing 60 miles an hour and it's cement, and the car isn't.
Yeah.
The Fish and Musician, that was a great segment, Billy. Yes. With guest stars, the Tubes, who were literally on it. Fishing. Yeah. Because that's the tangent this show goes on. That's right. I can't even predict. We're taking Bo back in time to his childhood, though, with the Schmengi Brothers talk. I'm sure. Bo lived that. We heard about that. Yeah, exactly. Gil Fisher. I don't like the taste of fish, so I eat steak. Yet he hosted a fishing show. Richard Clark's here. What the fuck? That sucks, dude.
The hell?
I wonder if my internet's back enough that I can flip back over, so I'm not using all my phone power. So I didn't get to charge the phone. So you're going to see a brief lockup, folks. I'm going to try switching over to the home connection and see how this works.
Play the runaround music from the cartoons. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, and he's back.
I think I'm back. Nice. Pasta's almost ready, Trev says. Nice. All right. We'll shut down the old hotspot on the phones. We're not killing off all. Oh, yeah, we're down to 50% battery. Well, I'm glad we checked on that. All right. That's fine. That's fine. Transporter works fine. All right, that's good to know, Hip. Billy's making jerk chicken. Oh, so apparently it's the food portion of the show. I had steak. So
I had a ham and cheese.
Right.
With a salad.
Ooh.
Extra black olives.
All right. What's wrong with that?
It was basically just black olives and some lettuce. You eat what you got, right?
Yep. So my dad was like, "Hey, I want some salad." I'm like, "All right." And it was just a bunch of lettuce with Thousand Island dressing. And 50-50. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that salad's 700 calories, Dad. Because it's like a quarter bottle of salad dressing.
Oof. Cut back on the salad dressing. I just put black olives, red onions, and green peppers. It tends to give it enough flavor that it's palatable.
Sure.
Call it rabbit food.
Pizza and salad for Patrick. Dan put chicken on the grill. Burgers and fries for Ferd.
Nice.
Richard, you moved up from bologna to chicken? You get a raise? Oh, Victor, yeah. Trucks getting stuck in overpasses. No kidding.
I see it a lot because I do a lot of highway driving out in Atlanta. It's mind-boggling how often that happens.
I remember there was a sharp corner here where I lived, tractor trailer with a load of cigarettes of all things tipped over, and the back broke open, and it was just fucking chaos because like our town, I swear, it was like 80% smokers because half the town's on welfare, and so like the cars of people just showing up because word got around, and this is like in the 80s, you know, with like phone tree or something. Long before the cops showed up, people would just grab like boxes full of cartons.
Payday.
Yeah.
My dad was transporting a shipment of Pepsi, and he had the truck had broke down, so he went and grabbed one of the work trucks that was like a Ford Ranger, and they put a pallet in the back, and he was going under an overpass and didn't realize that he clipped it, and so he shows up to the place, and there's just soda going everywhere. He's like, "Yep, we didn't get that contract that day.
Right.
Now we owe them money."
Yeah.
At least he tried, right?
Bo's doing chicken on the grill, green bean salad, and baked potato. Oh, look at you.
That sounds good.
Yeah, Bo would be in full mode now because Memorial through Labor Day. He's got the campfire that doesn't go out at all.
Nice. I started a little fire pit out there, but I need to get some more bricks.
I was doing that. I was grabbing rocks out of the back field behind me here until the new neighbors put up a fence, so I can't. I thought I was doing them a favor, pulling rocks out of the farmer's field, you know.
Well, I'm lucky, so I build houses from the ground up. So all the leftover material that's just laying around, some of the builders I work with are friends of mine. So they're like, "Hey man, you want to get rid of this for me?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'm taking that." Right. See how much I can get in the truck. That's how I built this room. Technically, I'm in the basement. Technically.
Bo says that's right. It's like the Olympic torch for summer here. Exactly.
Nice.
What's up, Mesa guitar guy?
Oh boy, we got cicadas from the red eye to the yellow eye. We got both of them coming out. It's absolutely insanity.
No doubt.
I don't even know. Half the time people are like, "What are those things even called?" I'm like, "You don't know what those are? Aren't they June bugs?" I'm like, no, those are cicadas. That means they're going to eat everything. And don't walk around with your mouth open. Ryan's having cheese puffs.
Oh, that'd do it. 2 megabyte down. All right, we'll switch over to the phone again.
Oh, Lord.
To me.
Those damn solar flares.
Yep. Oh, yeah. See, now it's working temporarily. But
since you switched over, you've been fine. Your quality actually bumped up.
Huh. I'll leave it for now. Well, now it's working because I threatened.
It's because you moved.
Nope. Not locked up again. Dang it. All right, I'll flip over to the phone.
We need like the Jeopardy music.
There we go. One of the reasons I want to move my studio upstairs, so when this happens, I'll have better cell service too. So.
Yeah, I don't get anything down here for sure.
Yeah, fortunately, there's a window there. I literally have the phone in the window. But it's also right next to an electrical panel, which I'm sure is pushing off some interference.
It does definitely interfere, especially if it's the main line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I also got the router right under the panel.
Yeah, it can also make some noises.
Which was funny is one time when I called tech support, they're like, "Can you move the router further from the panel?" I'm like, "No, your tech didn't give me enough cable to do that."
Man, I'm jealous of Bo. He's ready to go.
Right? Damn. Oh, yeah, he's all about the s'mores.
Do love me some s'mores.
People talking about various tractor trailer accidents.
Yeah, I was reading that. Try not to
Zach
get
had
too
chicken
respect.
wing from Golden Valley. They are good. I've had them. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Zach moved down to this area just after I moved here, and he's living within walking distance of my old house.
Nice.
So he'll be like, I went for dinner here. I'm like, yeah, pretty sweet place, eh? He's like, or what do you think of this one? Don't. Just don't.
My job has me move around quite a bit. So hopefully I'll be in Georgia for a long period of time so I don't have to move again because, man, I have accumulated more stuff.
Moving is such a hassle.
Such a pain. And I think I'm at that portion of my life where I'm going to start buying amplifiers again. So it's going to become even more of a pain.
Right. What's up, Grimora?
But yeah, that'll move us back to Gear Talk. I started using a Cortex.
Yeah.
It's just super easy to get things running. But then the other day I busted out the Vox and started playing it, and I was like, holy crap, there's a major difference here.
Yeah. You do fool yourself. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, then you play through an actual amp, you go, oh, okay, right.
The air moving around and just the way it feels is totally different. I feel like it's more articulate. You can get more noisy fingered style stuff going on.
Yep.
Plus, there's nothing like cranking up a tube amp and just letting it eat, you know?
Right. Where you can get that right where you're not quite feeding back, so you have almost unlimited sustain.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like on these, you could take all the noise suppression off, but then you get that digital hum, and then you're still not getting any sustain. It's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
So you get a sustainer pedal to fake it.
Vibrato that note from sustain into feedback.
Yeah.
Which I love doing.
Exactly. And I forgot that I loved it until I did it the other day, and I was like, oh man, this is what it was all about.
It's not something you can really do in a band setting until like the end of the song or something like that, but which is cool. But yeah, that's one of the joys we get to do as guitar players. Little things like that.
Nuances. I do have amps. They're all like lunchbox style. Trying to save space, and
Let's think about doing that. Because I've got 112s, 212s, 412s, 312s. I have all the 12s apparently,
nice.
So I can go with lunchbox heads.
I got the Rev G20 and a Celestion Vintage 30 in a single 12 oversize.
Nice.
And it's pretty gnarly. And that has the built-in, what is that, 2 notes, so you can plug it into the computer and have it run an emulation of a cab.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little noisy, though. Especially when you put your cell phone near it.
I see that. Oh, it must have been at Welcome Quaid the other day. They had a 2 notes torpedo system sitting there.
Those are cool.
I'm like, oh, yeah. They're like, interested? I'm like, no. They're like, oh, it'd be good for recording demos. I'm like, yep, it would. You interested? Nope.
I guess if you're running it into a DAW, yeah, but you just record your demos on phone.
Yeah, it's like at what point do I want to have separate video and audio signals that I got to fucking sync up and all this,
It becomes kind of a pain.
Right. And it's not like, I put out a video and it gets 10,000 views, so it's going to generate, let's say, $10 the first day. The law of diminishing returns, like until you start getting some more returns on the videos.
That's why I haven't done any.
Remora says the Sire H7V is ordered, Ben. Awesome.
That's a sick guitar.
Which I decided when I record demos, I really should play the guitar or tune the guitar, play it for 5 minutes, let the neck warm up, the strings warm up, retune, and then shoot the video, because I never do that. I just tune and then shoot. And the video, as guitarists like to go out of tune once they warm up under the hands. So Trev and I were discussing, if I make the big time, like we're Rick Beato size, so I'm going to hire Trev to just pre-tune and noodle on the guitar, so it's like literally warming up the motor in the car. Everything's set to go, so he just hands it to me, and we're good to go.
He's just sitting in the corner pressing on the brakes.
Right?
Tune, press the brakes back again. That's actually a thing in my world with the big heavy strings and everything. You literally have to sit there and keep pushing on the break angles until the string sets properly. Otherwise, you will constantly be out of tune.
Yep.
You could just use a locking nut, I guess, but I am not much for all that mess.
See, then now you're dicking around with fine tuners, and
Yeah.
I always find that I'm running out of fine tuner space. Like, hey, we got a new channel member.
There you
Hey,
go.
new channel member. We got. Oops, no, not a guitar fluff. Yeah, well, yeah, sure, Richard. That's what I was looking
Guitar
for.
fluffer.
Now I got to get that put on a T-shirt for Trev. Just a guitar fluffer.
It's the only fluffer job I'll take.
Right. If I become Rick Beato, who will be my Rhett Shull? Well, I guess it'd be Trev, wouldn't it? I guess. No, wait. No, it'd be someone younger. So, I don't know. It could be Matt. I don't know. No. Matt's done as much as me, if not more, in the industry. So, there we go. I already highlighted that. So, which is one of the reasons I wanted to do the hang, because I was like, yeah, you've kind of been there, done that. And it's funny because you can tell the folks, and this is nothing against like the water buffaloes, or just the community in general. You'll see those that haven't done much talk about it more than those who have. Those who have a resume don't need to discuss their resume.
Half time, I don't want to talk about that stuff anyway.
Right? But it's like, it's like, hey, look at me. It's the guy that, okay, you can shred, but have you ever played outside of the bedroom? Well, I played in the living room twice. Well, no, easy, like.
Funny thing is,
playing 3 bands that never make it out of the garage because of whatever reason the band implodes before you ever get to a point of having a whole set list ready to go.
That's very common. Somebody has a problem with somebody else's girlfriend. Next, the band's split.
Didn't we talk about this last night? Kind of, Doug, but not really. All right. Why is Trev texting me when I'm on my phone?
Messing the service all up, Trev.
Oh, he's showing. Okay, he did black and tuna as well. All right. Ooh. I'd show that off, but I'm using the phone for the connection. Just barely. I got 1 bar. I can back up to 2 bars. There we go.
Billy says you could put my resume on a Post-it.
Right? Yeah, like I'm not saying I had a distinguished career of any kind, but I played a lot of shitty bar gigs and all the way up to including some festivals, regional festivals and stuff, and I can tell from your vibe and demeanor during the Buffalo meetings. I'm like, oh yeah, because you would mention something. I'm like, well, that's a voice of experience. Okay,
I played for beer. I've been there.
Bo's the same way, although Bo's just the showstopper. He's like, oh yeah, well, you haven't played for 1,000 people? No, Bo. Most people haven't played for 1,000 fucking people.
I did a lot of like multiple sclerosis awareness and stuff like that, because those are like put you in front of a ton of people. You don't really get paid for those things, So,
those are karma gigs. We do those to build karma.
You do get, a decent little following from it.
Yep.
The bands I were in were all really niche, so it was really hard to get people to really pay attention.
Sure.
Especially when it comes to the metal stuff. In Florida, I guess one of my bands was been pretty known around Halloween. We would play that. It was the Kapoka band, the Betty Had to Boop, because we would do like covers and stuff like that. So bands would hire us during the holiday. But even then, I wasn't really known as a guitar player. Most of the bands I was in, I was either playing keyboard and singing or just singing.
Okay.
Or screaming, I guess you could. I don't know if you consider that singing. I did the rah-rahs.
Well, I get it. As I said, I had fucking Hulk Hogan for a lead singer in the band, so I get it.
But as I got older, I realized that I didn't want to carry gear around, so I started to look for more studio-oriented gigs.
Sure.
And just became a producer at some of the local studios where I lived. A lot of hip-hop. A lot of hip-hop.
Yep.
So I got really good at MIDI stuff and mastering and mixing. And that's basically all I've done for the last decade or so.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't do anything. I just do whatever I want.
Way more fun.
Yeah. I just got tired of dealing with the people. I mean, I can't understand half of what they're saying anyway.
All right. Like mumble rap. What the fuck? As a rapper, you have one job: enunciate.
Yeah. And they kept getting younger and younger too. I noticed the older crowds, they figured out they could just set up their own studio equipment.
Right.
And they had already made friends with somebody like me, so they would just hit me up like, hey, how do I do this? And I would tell them they wouldn't need to pay me because they knew how to do it now.
Cookie Monster. Exactly, Dan.
Yeah, I am Cookie Monster.
Well, it's like I paid for a guitar setup once.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, can I watch you do it? And the guy said, sure. Thanks. Done.
Yep. Now I do a lot of that myself. And well, when it comes to like the 8 strings and stuff like that, I tend to send those out because, good Lord. You ever said a truss rod on an 8 string? It's not fun.
I can imagine.
And in some cases, there's 2 of them. So it's double unfun.
Yeah, I pick my poisons now for setups. Like, do I want the hassle of a Floyd Rose setup? Not really. I can set one up, but I also haven't perfectly. It's been hit and miss. Like my Kramer, I've set up multiple times. I've had it completely torn apart, and for whatever reason, I can set that thing up and it's set up perfect, or at least good enough for me. Whereas I tried setting up an Ibanez with a floating trem system, and eventually I said, dude, you got to take this to another tech. I kept trying, and it was close, but it wasn't right. I could tell.
My first real guitar was an Ibanez. I think it was like a 470 with a Floyd. That didn't last very long. I could never get it in, so I bought a Squire. The guy at the pawn shop was like, are you sure?
That's my opinion, but by the time you're gigging, you should be most of your own work on guitars. Yes and no. It's a smart thing to know, because if something goes wrong at a gig and you don't have a backup, you got to fix it. Fine. But then I know guys that gig that don't even change their own strings. Like one is like they'll either have a tech do most of the work, or and while you're setting up, restring it, boom. Or at one time I was really busy. I was working 6 days a week and playing in a band. I didn't have time to do my guitar, so I just drop off guitars with Richie, and drop one off when I picked one up, and he'd be restringing the setup every couple of weeks on the guitar, and I'd just constantly be rotating them in and out.
That's kind of what Bo's saying. He says, I send guitars out to have set up when I'm too busy with all the projects I have. I have to delegate to things so things get done.
I get that.
Yeah, definitely get that. I still have, the Ibanez still not set up. I've had that for a few weeks. Never used
one of those Evertune bridge systems. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, I don't think I played one myself.
I have. It's interesting. There's a trick or two you'd have to know. If you're a string bender, you have to do a certain setup to make the string bendable.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll bend the string and you're just like, okay, that's what's happening.
Oh, yeah, you should definitely know how to do it, Richard, because if your stuff more than often not goes wrong at a gig for whatever reason, you're harder on your gear at gigs than you ever are at home. And I don't know why. You just start. Well, I do know why. It's adrenaline. It's adrenaline. It's that heat of the moment. That's why, like last day, I was looking at my telly. I'm like, how is this pickguard scratched from edge to edge? Like, at what point am I hitting the upper? Like, I'm like 4 inches from the strings. Why am I making contact with the guitar? And how am I not like just chewing up my fingers and knuckles? And
you probably did, just don't remember.
Right? But it's the way it is.
Nowadays, I don't mind it so much on like standard 6-string stuff. It's kind of therapeutic to sit there and take it apart, put it back together.
Yeah, I'm trying to kill off the strings on the Mexican telly because I want to put the original saddles back on it, and so I got to sand down the neck again. I don't completely take the finish off, but I just knock it down to a satin with the steel wool. Play it for X amount of months, it gets glossy again, knock it down again. And that way it doesn't get dirty, like when you take down complete bare, because I should have washed my hands before I played, and now it's black. Perfect. Yeah. So I noticed it last night. I was holding up the guitar, but why is this neck so shiny? It's a gloss finish on it.
I'll tend to buy guitars that don't have the finishes on them. But then, like you said, you got to sit there and constantly clean the son of a bitch. Constantly cleaning it.
Yeah, that thing gets played too much. I'm not even sure I have to oil the fretboard. I was showing Trev. You could see the shine even on the rosewood, like where I play. There's all these little ovals. So I'm like, clearly my oily ass fingers are lubing it enough.
And I was shocked to find that like the new Fender American Jazz Masters, the entire maple neck is all gloss except for the back of it. So the fretboard's completely glazed. I don't know how I feel about that. Which is traditional,
but nobody likes a glossy back of the neck. Well,
that's the thing. They left the back a natural, unfinished. So it's just the frets that are shiny. It's kind of bizarre to me. And I didn't know that when I was hunting for them. So I just ordered it. You know, Sweetwater sent me one over, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And then like a day or two into it, I was like, I did not notice this awkwardness."
Yeah, I think it feels more comfortable if it's either all gloss or all satin or all bare. Bo says, funny, I just tend to buy guitars too. Well, yeah, Bo, you know, you can restring and set up guitars. You don't have to buy new ones all the time.
That's kind of one of the jokes with my friends and I. They're like, well, he got his intonation's off on that one, so he just got another one. You know.
Seth says, want to maintain your setup? Use a good hard shell case. Oh, no, I leave my guitars out because if I leave them in cases,
I'll never play them
as much. Well, except for the Explorer sits in its case because I'm not leaving a nitro painted guitar in the rack. Well, Dad's is nitro, his telly, but it's already relic to fuck. Who cares? You know. But that thing, the paint's perfect on it, so I'm not searing it. Why go down that road?
Yeah, my Charvel is a roasted neck with a satin finish. That's one of my mostly played guitars. Standard.
Yeah, you got to seal that finish in for me. If you're roasting the neck, you got to seal in that stank. I don't want to be smelling no maple when I'm playing.
It definitely has a stank.
Right? Oh, during travel. Oh, definitely, Seth. I use nothing but hard shell or road cases or flight cases, I guess, which are like the molded plastic. I've got a few of those for Strats, and my Ernie Ball has that flight case, and the Wolfgang's all come with flight cases. Well, they don't come with them anymore, but mine did.
I think I was looking at Gator Cases makes a travel case that holds 3 guitars. It's on wheels.
Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah, it looks like almost like hard shell for a set of golf clubs.
Yeah,
almost. Except it's 3 guitars. Those things are awesome.
Yeah, I really want one.
I would like if really I get back into gigging. You know, that would be sweet rather than carrying 3 hard shell cases everywhere. Exactly. For some reason, it always seems like I always bring 3 guitars to a gig.
At least 2, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
So the two guitar version of that is like $550. That's just a case.
Some of those the really high end gig bags, they do the 2. Like was it Mono does the 2 guitar gig bag? They're pretty sweet. CDF, do you think a Steinberger guitar setup would be easy? Modern ones, yes. Vintage ones with a trans trim? No. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you need a mechanical engineering degree to start one.
Or be Ryan from Motivate one too.
There's Aaron from Elvis. He uses the mono dual guitar case. Yeah, I know.
I'm looking it up. I don't think I've seen that.
They're not bad. Look, like Aaron, Matt has a Revolta. Aaron also, you see, you're in a state. It's you two dudes on here that have had Revoltas on the air.
I do enjoy the Revolta. Mm-hmm. Now I want a regular one because that one's a Barrett. That's a 28-inch.
Well, you were the other one, Aaron. Exactly, me too. Or you just want more.
I really want to get a Novo next, but man.
Right.
How long do I want to be paying for that?
Yeah, they ain't cheap.
No.
They're expensive.
RJ put one up.
And there's a wait list, right? Like that's...
Yeah. RJ had one on Reverb, pretty reasonably priced, and like I know I could have talked to him and probably got it down a little bit, but it was a single coil, and that was it. And I was like, oh man, I can't.
Oh yeah, like that, basically like a Esquire.
Yeah, I was like, if it had the Tele style neck pickup in it, I would have been all about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But just a bridge pickup.
It's kind of a one-trick pony.
Right? Yeah, for like
I don't want to be. I'll spend Revolta money on a one-trick pony, Matt. I ain't spending no fucking Novo money on a one-trick pony. Yeah.
I mean, I think at that point you're buying the finish and the fancy paint.
Yeah.
Not only that, but the bridge was like the vintage style Tele bridge, and I'm just not a huge fan with the 3-post. Yeah. Again, like you said, it's definitely a one-trick pony. Who knows? Maybe he'll let go of one of his other ones, and I can snag up on it.
I can see picking that up. It wouldn't be bad if I'm planning on riding the bridge pickup of a Tele all night anyways, for instance. Like if I'm doing a rockabilly gig or something.
True.
But yeah, I gotta play a lot of gigs to pay for the Novo.
That's you could buy a motorcycle with that kind of money.
You buy a car.
Damn near.
You only ever buy new to me cars. If I'm buying a new Novo, I can buy a Nova for the same price.
Gamora says Nova equals 9-year car payments. Pretty much.
It's like I was asking at Long McQuaid, like, what's the longest they would do for financing, right? Because I know they do the 0%. Because I'm thinking, the way guitar prices keep going up, like if you can do 0% over 3 years, by that third year, you're probably saving hundreds of dollars on a decent guitar.
True. I don't know. I try to pay if I'm going to buy a guitar, I make sure I have at least 80% of the money for it. That way I can just.
Michael Krause asks, how much is a Nova? A Nova, you can get one about $5,000 US. It's going to be a fixer-upper.
Probably won't run, but I saw a couple 69 shells for, I think they were like just under 3.
Sure.
Gonna need all the interior and the motor bits and all that fun jazz. So it's gonna be an expensive.
Same road my sister's on, but about 10 miles south of her, a guy's got a nice candy apple run one, about 69 with a hood scoop. I'm like, nice. I'm like, I got a Gretsch that matches it. Hey, the Kramer, we could line them all up.
I was actually looking at those Gretches. I might pick one of them up.
There's a sweet deal. 500 Canadian. What they're like? 300, 350 US.
It's around $400. Yeah. But man, I start to look, and then I get to looking at the more expensive ones, and I'm like, maybe I should just wait.
Then they brought out the Pristine series, and then was it? I messed with Charles there. Oh yeah, the figured top series. So let's get a Country Gentleman. That's a quilt top. Yeah. I'm like, that is a lot of quilt. That's like a whole quilt.
That's a lot of guitar.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't even want to know what they cost.
The Penguin I was looking at was almost $4,000. I was like,
I get a kid with people like, you look at a Falcon, what color? I'm like, there's only one. There's a reason it's called White Falcons.
It's called a White Falcon. Yeah. Then you have their what was it?
Unless they do a variant for a signature player or something, right? If Setzer wants a blue Penguin, he gets a blue Penguin. It's like they're supposed to be black. Doesn't matter. He wants a blue one, he gets a blue one.
They had an anniversary Penguin that was like a light blue. Ooh. Yeah, it was really fancy, and I was like, man, I wish I had that kind of.
That'd be a color variant, definitely, right? Because generally, the Penguins are black with gold hardware.
Right.
And a little smaller than the Falcon. I think they were a smaller body style too.
I think it was more of a hollow body Gibson size. Yeah. A little chunky boy.
Duffy has the silver sparkle. That's right, Kumora. That's true. Oh, Zini coming out with another 6118 and split pea soup green. That sounds disgustingly, but it'll probably look awesome on it.
Yeah.
That's how I came across Zini. Well, like I met him in Steve from Boston's chat years ago, and he started putting out Gretsch videos, and I'm like, I like Gretches.
Yeah.
And that's how we bonded, because we both like Gretches.
I don't play enough country music to justify that price, though.
I just, I'll play rockabilly on it. No, you won't. But I will.
What I actually been looking at is the Gretsch. What is it called? Let me look it up. It's called the Bobtail, I think. It's the resonator.
Oh yeah.
I found them for like $500 on Reverb. I'm like, that's tempting.
I was tempted to play one not too long ago, but I didn't have a slide. That's why. Sadie says, ever seen a Kalamazoo Strat by Gibson? Yes. They're rare. I've seen them. The 70s was a weird time. Gibson was playing with single coils and Fender was playing with humbuckers. Neither one could sell a guitar, so they've tried to be the other person.
They probably had a meeting like, look.
Yeah, they're playing that stuff, guys, but we're playing the 50s stuff because you built it better. Kalamazoo, why did they not take all the machinery when they relocated to Nashville? Because it was all worn out. Because they never replaced the dies. That's why the headstocks changed shape over the years and shit.
Yeah.
Tolerance.
Oh, yeah. The Gretsch Professional Malcolm Young signature. It's like a $3,200 guitar, and it's literally missing 2 of the pickups. What the hell? So why are all the switches and everything still on there?
$3,000 for a one-trick pony.
I mean, it's a cool looking guitar, but
bring you with 13s and you're gonna like it. Yes, okay.
Do the pickups come in the case? Like,
can I get it before we modded it when it had 3 pickups and was still painted red? There are other early photos of it. You do it like the Eruption 78.
Yeah. It just blows my mind the prices they're trying to ask for stuff nowadays because somebody's name's attached to it. And,
and the funny thing, that's the funny thing about vintage Gretches, because Gretsch back in the day were kind of like Dane Electros. They weren't that great.
The wood bridges and
stuff. Look, they all have 0 frets. Why do they have 0 frets? Because they didn't have to teach someone how to cut a nut because it has 0 fret. That's right. And Hamer and Dean said, hey, we can be Gibson. That's true.
Called the Gretsch G6118T 140 limited 140th double platinum anniversary hollow body.
Oh,
it is beautiful. It has a blue pick guard. It's kind of an off-white, fancy, and that's a $2,700 guitar.
Right.
Someday.
That was like the sneaky bastards at Long McQuaid snuck in a made in Japan Gretsch in with all the Indos.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, wow. I'm like, this one sounds a little better, plays a little better. But then I saw the price tag. I'm like, holy shit, there's a 2 in front of it.
Yeah.
So they added. Instead of $679, it was $2679. I'm like, whoa, okay, right.
There's also a 140th double platinum edition Falcon that is like super baby blue.
See, Josh is losing it now too.
And that's a $4,000 guitar. But man, I would love to have that.
Exact copy because Malcolm, because you don't have the magnets from the other 2 pickups pulling on the strings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be more sustained as a result.
But
also,
I want the pickups.
13s. How that little man played 13s is beyond me.
In like standard tuning too.
Right? Yeah, 440, 30. Well, he's like, I'm not bending a note. Like, when they refretted, did they just refret the first 5 frets on that guitar and that's it? Right?
Or just put up a lower nut?
Yeah.
Can't hear the string buzz if the amp's loud enough, right?
See, no, because Malcolm's guitar would have been chambered, but it wasn't hollow. It didn't have F holes, I don't think. Although he did play other guitars at times. Like, that was the thing. He was known for that guitar, but if you watch early stuff, he was playing. He had as soon as ACDC had some money, he had a fucking White Falcon. So I get it. He was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm getting White Falcon." Look huge on it. Looked like he was playing a cello,
like Brian Setzer.
Right?
He makes guitars look so massively big. I was like, man, I don't ever want something that big. Then I went and picked it up. I'm like, this is not that big. He must be a tiny person.
Right? That's like I thought Les Pauls were damn near the size of a 335 because I only ever saw like Ace Frehley and Randy Rhoads playing them. Pick one up, I'm like, oh, it's like a ukulele. Look at that.
Yeah, I like those new ones. The one you did a demo on, really cool.
That was an interesting one.
The push pulls and all that. That's got some options there. It's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something normal for Gibson to have coil tap and all that off.
They've been doing that for, I'll say 5-6 years now with the modern version. The one thing I don't like is they used to do a titanium nut that was adjustable in height with 2 set screws. And I love that idea because I like a nut cut lower than somebody else, for instance. So resale, you can just jack it back up again to stock position. I really like that.
You don't have to file it. That's good. That's a good idea.
They got rid of that option, unfortunately. And I'm trying to think there's something else that we were doing where we got rid of. Escaping me right now. They do have the different heel, which is nice too. A little bit better access to the upper notes. Ever Loctite saddle screws? No.
Loctite. You'll never get them off.
I've had saddles come onto my bench of guitars that you swear someone used Loctite because it hasn't had a setup in 12 years and the guy just palm muted on a sweaty stage for 12 years.
Gupta.
So it's like, oh, I think I'm just going to pull this whole bridge assembly off, put it in my ultrasonic cleaner for an hour.
Put the whole guitar in the cleaner.
Right?
Yeah. My old Ibanez's were like that. I just got rid of them. I was like, yeah, no, they're done.
Oh, I know it's good. It was weird to play that studio because normally when I play Les Paul, I'll get the forearm burn from the binding. I always burn my forearm on the binding. I don't like that. So I was like, oh, studio, no binding. However, the neck feels weird without the binding. So it's just different. It's just, you can texture underneath it. You're used to feeling that binding, I guess. It's just tactically feels different, so it threw me off. So I'm like, can I get a bound neck but a non-bound body? Is that possible? I was like, what? It's like, hey,
actually, my 8-string's like that. It has a black bound neck, but there's no binding on the body. I mean, it's a black guitar with a black bound neck, so you can't even tell. I think they did that just to hide the fret sides.
Right. Ian says he saw Brian Setzer playing Bill Haley's guitar. It looked humongous, no doubt.
Yeah, I bet.
It was like a 175 or something.
He had a couple signature models.
Not acoustic with F-holes in a pickup.
I was wondering about that. How's he playing with a live big band behind him with a semi-hollow guitar? How did that thing not scream the whole time?
Because his amp was nowhere near him.
Yeah, it had to have been somewhere very far away.
Yep.
I don't even know if you can find a Brian Setzer signature anymore. Is that even a thing anymore?
I felt so bad. I tried playing the Blue Sparkle one at NAMM, but they didn't set up the guitar once it acclimated to the room and the strings were laying on the fretboard, so it was unplayable. I was so pissed off.
I don't see any Brian Setzer.
No, it was Tim Armstrong. I pretty much ran into. It's like, why are all these people crowding around the Gretsch? I want to go play a Gretsch. I'm like, oh, it's Tim Armstrong. All right. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Saw them live.
It was funny. He had way more of a crowd around him than Phil Cullen did when he walked into the other side of the room where Jackson was on the other side of the room. And I'm like, Tim Armstrong's cool and all, but Phil Collins and Def fucking Leppard, who has like 2 of the top 10 selling albums of all time.
Well, the people that went to those shows probably didn't go to NAMM because, the last couple of NAMMs that I was watching, like your videos, and it's all the younger guys. They're everywhere.
Well, because they don't charge as much, right? They'll show up for free. They're happy just to be there.
True. all the metal.
Well, it's weird. It's a mix. You see the real young guys, and then you see the guys that it's like, okay, yeah, you got a leather face, but jet black dyed hair and eyebrows. You're not fooling anyone, buddy. Yeah, you got more wrinkles than a the Tolex on my amp. Jesus.
Got that vampire hair.
Look at you, Michelangelo Beato, or whatever your fucking name is, with his dual guitar shred.
Yeah, what is that?
And if you stop at any time during NAMM show, if you stop and listen closely, you can hear Greg Koch performing somewhere. Because that man performs like everywhere.
I've never been to one. Never in the same area as one.
It's only Anaheim now, because unless they bring back Summer NAMM at some point.
They have like little spin-offs other places, but again, you have to travel. My job is just too much of a pain.
I found out today was this weekend was Ottawa Guitar Show, which would have been 2.5 hours each way. So had I known, I would have gone up for that. But
yeah, that's not too bad.
I think I have some friends up there I could have crashed on the couch.
That, and I just don't like going into public very often.
Whole life, just a wow moment. I agree, Zini. I always like Brian Setzer.
Yeah.
Ironically, my dad didn't care for the Stray Cats. It was the tattoos. He's like, guys didn't have tattoos back in the day. If you had money for a tattoo, you bought a guitar. Like that's
or you're in the Navy.
Yeah.
That's what my grandfather was. What are you in the Navy? I'm like, no. He's like, why do you want tattoos? I don't know. Rock and roll.
It's like one thing I knew growing up in the 80s is I'm going to smoke cigarettes and have tattoos and long hair. I knew that much. And my ears pierced. Yeah. That was the other thing.
Yeah, I've been a short hair person for, 4 or 5 months now? It's not the same.
No, it's not.
Now I can actually see how thinning things are. I'm like, oh, God, I'm just going to grow it all back out.
If I cut mine short now, when I grow up, if I grow it back, it's going to be all gray.
Yeah, I'm already there.
Greg Koch is a thing to behold live. I agree. Jim Cox, what's happening? I almost bought a set of those Greg Koch Fishman pickups because it was Greg giving me the hard sell. Oh, yeah, these are great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right. He's like, you can do these things. I'm like, well, you can. I can't. And then did I play as Grizzlecaster before? I don't think it was actually released yet. I got to play on that a bit, which was cool.
I forgot about that. Grizzlecaster.
Yeah, because it's like a 10/9 scale type thing. It's an oversized telly.
That sounds pretty freaking neat.
It played real nice.
If you look up Grizzlecaster, you get caster wheels.
That's funny.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's neat.
That was the single coil set, Michael Kress. That was at Sweetwater in 2018. So I decided to go down for Gear Fest.
They send me invites to that kind of stuff, but I'm always like, I'm not. Yeah. How am I going to get there?
It's all virtual now, too, which is stupid. I enjoyed the event when I went. Because I had a whole pavilion with used gear. Sign me up.
Heck yeah. Sweetwater's doing that used gear stuff now. People dictate their own prices like Reverb. You might as well just go to Reverb.
Yeah. Some of the newer folks that may not have seen it. There it is. When I was there, I snagged this for a very reasonable price.
Neat. A D-tuna.
Yeah, I added the D-tuna myself. This has been FU toned up quite a bit. There you go. Kramer Focus. Was it 6,000? Yep. It's got the big block in it. It's got the titanium saddle inserts. D-tuna. It already had the Duncan JB installed in it. And I got a Bourne's Audio high friction volume pot installed.
Ooh.
I hate low friction pot. Yeah. Like you play fucking Cathedral and the thing gets knocked down to nothing every time I play my Wolfgang.
Yeah, my Charvel has a. I mean, you can just breathe on it wrong and it'll turn itself down.
Ooh, that's in tune. I'll be dipped. There you go, folks.
I always love those headstocks.
It's like 85 or an 86. It's basically an ESP.
Yeah.
Seth said he had that exact guitar. Cool. Also did Adam Reaver from Effutone, which is one of the reasons he gave me a deal on all the parts.
Nice.
I'm not saying I got artist pricing, but I think I got artist pricing on that.
I don't think I've ever had a Kramer. No, I don't. Never had a Kramer. That'll have to be the next one.
I had been following a lot of Van Halen based stuff around that time, so I thought should have one in the arsenal just in case if I ever need to play a wiggle stick based thing, I guess. So, and it is ironic. I did use it for a handful of gigs in my band, which was hilarious because there's nothing better than playing Tom Petty song on a fucking Kramer. Or Beatles, and the other guy would. I think when I was playing it, Richie was playing it. Ibanez full on hollow body jazz box, just for the visual of it.
Yeah.
Like, yep, that looks great. He's playing a hollow body. I'm playing a Kramer, and he's the lead player in the songs we were playing, and I was strictly playing rhythm.
That's awesome.
I think I even played slide on it one night. That was bold.
And my band originally recorded all of our songs on a Stratocaster, but then live I played an Art Star just because we wore suits and looked like vintage and stand-up bass. So I played a semi-hollow.
Love it.
Yeah, it was a lot of foam under the bridge. That thing was screaming
out.
hollow.
Collection of carving guitars. Bo's been buying Carvins and Kiesel so long he's dealt with multiple generations of that family.
Nice. Carvins are sick.
Yeah. Holy crap, we've gone almost 2 hours already. How did that happen?
I think we were actually talking about gear this time.
Yeah. Well, there we are. I was hoping, I was looking, okay, well, maybe we'll make it to 90 minutes, and that's a good show because of the replays and stuff, but holy crap. Well, we'll definitely have to do a part 2.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Mazel.
I'll swap all that out so you can see something else.
Not sure who's coming on next week, folks. I haven't booked the guest. I have an idea. I meant to text them today, but I forgot. So I'll reach out to them. Actually, I might reach out to them momentarily once I get my phone from over there and bring it back over here. I'll be back tomorrow night with Canucks with Guitars, and I'll be playing some songs. We got the Bad album covers. We may or may not have a Charles. I don't know. I haven't seen Charles tonight. He said he got kidnapped by the wife on Friday. I haven't got a ransom note yet, so she isn't sick of him, I guess. I don't know. So on that note, Matt, it's been great having you on.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely do it again. And thanks everybody that tuned in tonight. Of course, Matt, hold the line here. We'll wrap things up off air as one does. Yes, and then, everybody that tuned in, awesome time tonight. Some great questions and comments and concerns. Welcome, Mesa Guitar Guy, to the channel membership club. Hopefully we'll see you at a Water Buffalo meeting. They're always fun. Which, in theory, should be coming up this coming Saturday because it's the first Saturday of the month, but I'm busy. I'm playing in a cornhole tournament with my cousin. Maybe we'll talk about that next Sunday. Maybe next Sunday's guest will be Doug. I don't know. Could be. What's up, Dan? Great to see you. As always, Mahala. Great to see you. Zach and Seth and Earl. Great. So on that note, hold those doors open. Let Matt in ahead of traffic. He's trying to get to a job site, for fuck's sakes. Or he's trying to get home from a job site. I don't know. Depends on which.
A little bit of both.
One or the other. And be good to each other. Happy tone chasing. And of course, don't litter.